Hello plant friends, I figured I would give you all a Christmas tour. So we're going to start with what's on my desk. I have this beautiful orchid and it has been a great plant to see every day. And then I have this corner of just beautiful things. Here is my luxurians radicans hybrid. It's blooming for me. Here is another anthurium magnificum crossed with a dock block. I have a desert rose, alocasia red secret with a really nice new leaf coming out there. And then this is a begonia enclosure. We have Brevermosa subs exotica, and then I've got these two hybrids here you really can't see, but this one is, it's doing so well now. I've got two different begonias in here. Here's my silver dragon alocasia. It just put out a new leaf and it is just so pretty. Here is one of my largest air plants. I've got my anthurium clarinervium. This is my philodendron micans here. And it's got some really nice leaves. Billianti. Nice roots there. Nice roots here too. So this is pretty much what is in this corner. So I have something when I look to the right that's really beautiful to see. And then here I have a string of hearts and it has a few blooms here. This is my philodendron splendid, and then in the back is a red crystallinum dock block. She is finishing out her blooming cycle. This is a Darth Vaderina hybrid. I chopped off all the leaves because I didn't like the way they looked, and there are new leaves coming in. This is my Darth Vaderina. It has a little bit of browning on the oldest leaf. And if you look in the middle, you can see a new leaf forming. I pretty much purchased it and put it in this dome, and I'm not going to take it out for 2 weeks. Here is my most prolific bloomer, and I'm going to deadhead this later on today. And then as we move up, I have this beautiful burgundy. These are all African violets and they have no ID, but I believe that they're Optimara. These are my Anthurium vitifolium seedlings. This is a Brevermosa cutting that's rooting. Here is my most beautiful Nepenthes. Look, there's a new picture that's going to open soon. And then here is the tiniest, most precious little picture there. Let's see if I can get it to focus. You can see it. This is my Hoya. It has completely white leaves. All of these are white. They're pink now, but they will turn white. This one's so beautiful and ethereal. Up here I have another Nepenthes, and it has a little offshoot. And then here is Bill Bailey back here, so you can see. And then these are just stems. They're African violet flower stems, and I'm trying to see how long it takes for them to propagate. I've seen people propagate with these, and I'd never tried it before, so this is my first attempt This is the T-Rex terrarium. And if you turn it, got a lot of fern activity. My maidenhair fern seems to actually be happy now. And then a teeny tiny little begonia. This is the fungus gnat dream house. I don't know if you can see, but it's just covered. It's just covered in fungus gnats. So I haven't opened it, but they seem to be very, very happy there. So just to show you how many pictures I have with this. There's so many. Have a look at them. Oh, and Bill Bailey has a little offshoot too. Let's see if you can see it. It has gravel because there was a time when I did that, but not really. So that's a little baby there. If you can see that little shoot. So when it gets larger, I'll separate it. And it's similar to this one. So this is my betta fish. He loves to see me. He gets really excited. I have this feeder and it feeds him once a day. So that way he gets fed at the same time and I don't forget. And once a week I refill it. Here's my sweet little dog. She's very tired. This is my Dieffenbachia. It's a beautiful, large plant. If you have curious pets, which I don't have, it is toxic. Here's my Raven ZZ. It used to be a very small plant, and it's getting quite large. Here's my Philodendron Birkin. Here is my super tall Amaryllis and my Peace Lily with all of their beautiful flowers. Sometimes you'll have an Amaryllis that'll have 2 flowers, and I have 2 flowers. So I got very lucky. You don't really, unless you can open the box, you really can't tell. This was the last one, and it's a white double. It is Amaryllis Marquis. This plant, this is me. This is my Stramanthe Trio Star, and then I've got my Platinum Peace Lily. My Melanochrysum is actually doing really well. I made a video where I put it in here, pretty much, and it's got lots of new leaves that are forming, so you can see there's some new leaves there. And if we turn it around, it's a little dry. I'm gonna have to water it. And then there's some more new leaves. And we've got a new leaf forming right here. So, it's a little slow, but it's making it there. Yeah. So that is this corner. And if you count them, we've got one. This one's pretty done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is a prolific bloomer for me. And this is just so beautiful. I'm so happy that is blooming now. And it is so tall. She's awake now. Now she's back asleep. So this is my snake plant. It pretty much stays here in winter. And it's kind of lopsided looking because it got knocked over. And then I don't water it, literally. I treat it like a cactus. And it seems to be okay. So here are some of my Christmas decorations. I have these cute little porcelain houses. And they have a light in there. And they have glitter. They're just so precious. And then I'm not a fan of putting nails in the mantle, so I have these hooks. These stockings are literally display only, so when they're filled, they pretty much lay on here. They are a little too heavy to be supported by this. And I have these mercury glass candlesticks, and then these faux candles, and they're on a timer. And then this is another porcelain. It's a tree, and it's really pretty. So these houses came in a pack of 3. So that was really nice. Here are some more of my plants. This has been an evolving area. I started out with this shelf and I didn't have any grow lights, and all my plants were super epilated, like. So this is something newer. This is an air purifier. This plant has been through some stuff. It has been knocked over so many times by storms. This is honestly my oldest plant, and I have chopped it up so many times. It has 2 different branches now. But yeah, I think I've had this since 2013 or 2012. So it used to only have 2 leaves and it was this tall. So it's come a very long way. It is 2022 currently. The very end of 2022. This is the Monstera Adonzi Narrow Leaf. This is Cecile Sophie, and she is just magnificent and glamorous. I love iridescent begonias, and this one is definitely a stunner. This is a Calathea Macchiana, I believe, and it has the most beautiful roots. Like, look at that. And the cool thing is I can always tell when this one needs a water because it's in a clear pot. So down here I have this Tenanthe. It is the Setosa Gray Star. Back here we have a Calathea Flame Star, I believe. Yeah, Flame Star Calathea. Here is my Hoya Carnosa Exotica Tricolor. I'm not entirely sure. This one was a cutting I got from my first plant swap. Here is in the very back is Midnight Waterfall. It has got so many blooms forming. This is Calathea Rosie, I believe. This is Ma's Arctic Sky, and it's got so many precious little blooms. It's the only violet I got from Violet Barn that did not test positive for INSV. Fun fact. Here is Begonia Fanny Mosier. It has these beautiful, beautiful, large, dark polka dot leaves, and it is a shrub begonia. I had 6 of them in my backyard and they have since frozen, but I did take several cuttings. This is Hoya latifolia. It is also called the old name there. So you may see them both with both names. And I still have it in this very cute mug someone gave me for Halloween. Here's one of my mini air plants. This is my crinkle fern. It is so beautiful. This is my first flower from the violets I ordered from Linden Lion, and this one's called Louisiana Lullaby. And it has been opening a little bit every day for a week, so it's been a little slow, but it's going to be really pretty when it opens. This is my peperomia, and it looks kind of crazy right now because it could really use a drink. This is King's Ransom, and it has got blooms forming as well. Got a little bit of burn there. Some of my violets, they just kind of suffer. Like this one's got a little bit of some fungus or something on there. And neem oil will fix it. This is Gillian. It has these huge white flowers. So basically everything from Linden Lion has blooms, which is very exciting. This is my Jacqueline, and it's got a new leaf. I grew this from a corm, so it's been a very, very slow growing plant, but it's been beautiful nonetheless. This was the second leaf it ever produced. The first leaf I pressed, and each leaf looks more like the adult leaves. Here is my very, very happy rabbit foot fern. It just has so many little feet. And I put my little air plants in there because they like to be misted, and the fern catches whatever's left over. Here's another air plant. I suggest this one for beginners. I think it's the Medusa one. We're just going to take. This was a Propagation. It had 2 leaves when I first purchased it. It is Suncoast Lavender Silk, and it is a standard African violet. And we've got some leaves forming in there. I get excited because I really want to see this one bloom. And I have made a self-watering planter. And you can do that. It's really easy. So, it has its own little house. It doesn't need its own little house, but I just thought it was cool. So it has its own little house. Here is my fishbone calathea, also called a tenanthe. Here is another air plant, and it's just really to cover up this little spot right here. So you can use them as filler. Here is, I have them tabbed. This is White Fusion. Stella is over there, and it's much taller. I want to take it out of the pot and show you. I'm going to show you this one instead. So you can see all the roots. It didn't come in this container. I think I had some basil that came in that container. So we're just going to move this one down. Just want to show you the roots. It's really weird because the roots started and immediately hit the bottom, and now they're growing up the sides. Here's Maurice Amy, Hoya gracilis. So, yeah, Calathea orbifolia, and then Calathea stella, also known as a stunner. And then this one's also going to need a drink soon. And its roots are getting there. It's not the Calathea Macchiana level yet, but it's doing its best. This one's kind of tucked away here, and it's because I have this huge tree philodendron. This is a Monstera adonzi broadleaf, and you can see where I have cut. You can kind of pretend to see, but look at all the new growth here. New leaf, new leaf, new leaves. You can see there, I cut there. Everyone sees this and they want. There's another place. They want some of it, so I just give them a cutting of it because I know it's going to grow right back. And I got this as a pretty large pot. It was nowhere near this large, but it was a nice size plant. It was several plants, and then to keep it full and lush, I have made cuttings and put them in there, and then I also have it on a moss pole. Here is another amaryllis, and it is apple blossom. It only had one bloom. This one's kind of spent, But it had a lot of flowers on that one bloom. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can cut these off, or you can also leave them. I'm gonna leave them. I have some friends of mine that have kids, and they are going to, they're kind of getting into plants apparently. So I'm gonna save some of these seeds, because you can put them on water, like float them on water, and they'll sprout. So it's really fun. And kind of exciting because it's really dark and they really can't do anything outside. But yeah, this one's, you can cut them or leave them. But the seeds, there's like a million seeds in each little flower. So this is actually 3 separate plants in here. I keep separating it and it keeps growing new ones. It's like a summer fun thing to do. I'm hoping that after this time, I mean, and look at all the new growth I have here. I'm hoping that after this time it doesn't produce any more plants. This is a pothos here. Can't really see it. It's kind of hidden away. Someone's hanging on here. Ooh. Didn't sound good. Anyways, it'll be okay. So this is my pothos. It can have a little bit more light, honestly, but it's okay where it's at. And then these, I like to like pretty much, I'll show you, it's really simple. You just take it and push it on through. Ta-da! So it looks like super, really nice. This one likes to be outside too. I have different types of pothos, but they're not really in their own pot like this one is. And this one does have a little bit of gold. But for the most part, I've never really had it in a place where I was trying to make it super golden. So it kind of just stays here. So this is this plant corner. So now we get to see the most worry-free plant that I have, my Christmas tree. So I have these pretty bows. You can see at the top. It's a bow at the top, and then it takes me probably like 3 or 4 times to get this right. So I have them spaced out just the way I want them to be. And it just takes several times. And then I also have my Christmas presents wrapped. And I don't really enjoy ornaments that are all different. Everyone knows that about me. So if they get me an ornament, they know it's going to be donated. I'm not really into bags, but I could not wrap these 2 things. And I didn't have any boxes and I didn't feel like getting any. But yeah, what I do is I just write on the end there who it's for, because I don't like stickers either. I think they're kind of tacky, the little name things, but to each their own. So yeah, so this is a very fun room because a lot of people are trying to get rid of things, or maybe I'll bump something. This needs to be watered immediately, so we're gonna do that right now. It looks like a lot, but it's super dry. So this is my really super cute, it's like a miniature. It's not a miniature though, it's just a baby. Here's another Venus flytrap. It's fine. Here is a sundew. So, before I got distracted, this is an angel's trumpet. They're really easy to propagate. You can put them in water or straight into soil. Every winter, these are not freeze tolerant. They're very freeze tender. So every winter you need to propagate it and just bring it inside. And then, so if yours completely dies, you have an extra. These are propagations. Some are doing really great, some are not. So you can see some of these have a lot of leaves and they just need to be taken out. They need to be given their own little miniature pots. So I did a trade recently and I got so many new babies, and I'm very excited for them. A lot of them are propagations. They are micro minis. They were actually lost in the mail for 7 days, and somehow they still made it. So if you get really creative and experienced with packaging, you can kind of make anything work. This is a Echeveria. Here is King's Ransom, and it just was knocked off when I did my unboxing, and it's got some nice little roots, no new growths. This is my corpse plant back here. Bromeliad. I had way more of these. I've since given them away. They make really nice gifts if people are into plants. This is the purple and white that I have that everybody loves so much. I really don't know what this one is. Well, that's the purple and white. Peperomias are really nice and easy to propagate too. I need to just, so what I do is really lazy, but it's just too time consuming otherwise. I just dump water in the bottom of here and everything's touching it, so it just gets the water that it needs. Here's a peperomia of some kind. I chopped off the top because I didn't like the way it was growing. Here's a bromeliad in the back. These are the Hoya linearis propagations that I got. And they're going to take a while forming roots is what I've heard. This is such a beautiful plant. It's just crazy to think that a leaf can turn into a full-grown plant. I moved this Hoya, I think it's it's Indian rope with outward or outer variegation. This is my purple African violet. Here is the burgundy and white. Pretty sure this is my special angel, even though it doesn't have points at both ends. Yet it was with a whole bunch of them, and they all have pointed leaves at both ends. Here is a torch begonia. I pulled off all the leaves I didn't like. They were so beat up from me carrying it home. This is the first one that I think is going to be really pretty. This is, it tested negative in October, but its flowers look really deformed. This is an INSV presumed positive, and it is K's Unbridled. And I think that it's positive because of the flowers. I'll attach a photo of what they're supposed to look like. And then the leaves look so weird. Let me see if I can rotate the whole thing instead of just the top. But yeah, the leaves look so weird. They're dark in the middle. And it's not a sunburn, because if it was a sunburn, they would be like bleached looking. A great example are these. They look bleached, but it's a presumed positive. So it's been under this dome. Here are some Begonia maculata. This is a very sad looking leaf, but you know what? It prevails. And then I've got some Begonia propagations down there. I need to go through here and spray. This was, I didn't purchase it as a single leaf. I saw these growing and I was like, oh, this must mean it has a node. I'm not really big into gambling, even if it is a $10 plant. But this one was on sale and it was $7, and it had the baby plant, so I got it. It's the Hoya carrii, also known as the heartleaf Hoya. This is a resurrected calathea. It would be great if I knew what its name was, but I don't. I purchased it not knowing it had spider mites, and I sprayed it. So if you really want to kill your spider mites. This stuff is amazing. But it made all the leaves die all the way back. So it killed the spider mites, and it's taken 4 months for it to grow back. So if you have other things, but that spray does smell really good. So you're killing spider mites and it smells good. I had the amazing opportunity of going to the US Botanic Gardens, and I got to see one of these, and boy was it amazing. So these were propagations that I started in water and then I moved to soil, and they are just like really in there. They've got really nice established roots. You can see them coming out of the bottom too. So this one needs some water. What do we have here? Oh, I thought it was a new leaf forming, but it's just some algae on a piece of perlite. This is a very beautiful orchid. Was a rescue. Also a rescue. Both of these need water. This is my Frydek. It also had spider mites and lost all of its leaves. I thought I was going to lose it entirely. And then these white specks are that powder stuff, and it like is stuck on there. But I did a nice little powdering as a preventative in here. And well, I actually did all of my plants, not just the ones in here. So you don't see it here because this is new. I haven't powdered since this leaf came out, but I've misted it, but I haven't really tried. If I really wanted to get it off, I could, but I'm just letting you know it's not a pest. Here is a platinum peace lily that really needs water. I just moved this out of the entryway simply because I wanted it to get more growth. I repotted it. Didn't really care for the repot. This is some peperomia. More peperomia. This is my fish water. I'm quarantining this violet because it's a little sus. Some of the blooms didn't look normal on the last one. Let's see, what do we have here? We've got some bulbs that I'm forcing. We've got I put the name on here because I always forget. I just want to call it chocolate syngonium, and that's not what its name is. It is Arrowhead Maria, and it's super chocolatey looking. And it's actually doing really well. There was a time when I almost gave it away, but I kept it. And now it's like vining, so I'm gonna have lots of opportunities to put it somewhere and really show it off. So this is what it looks like when you don't have consistent humidity. See how it's like not a flat leaf? We live and we learn. This is a perfect leaf. Oh, it's so perfect. Look at it. This one's really nice too. Look at that. This is supposed to be a bambino, but under these grow lights, it almost just looks like a normal African mask. Here is another teeny tiny angel trumpet. And see, it's just like a begonia. They get these little knots up and down the stem, and then roots come off of it. So you can have multiple. I probably knocked off some roots. It'll be okay. You can have multiple plants in a propagation container. They can have neighbors. I've never had a problem. This really sad dying thing is a Japanese poinsettia, also known as the devil's backbone. And then here I've got an Easter cactus. And then I literally looked this up to see pictures of the blooms, and I can't remember what it's called. So I'm going to have to create tabs for those. These are my succulents that I keep in full sun outside, but it is literally 10 degrees right now. So they had to come inside, and they've been inside really, because I didn't want to risk losing them, you know, like maybe the weather drops. This is my dragon's breath. The leaves turn really gray and then they die. Something happened to this one, so it's just like the top of a leaf. And then here, this is finally growing for me. If you just ignore the fungus and hats and my camera focuses, Look at that. I think they're supposed to be variegated, but we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to rejoice in the fact that it's not dead. This is my philodendron brandy. So yeah, I'm really tempted to test this one again, and I'm tempted to test this one. Since it's just two, it would be only $20 because it's $10 a leaf. And this is just like a plastic apothecary jar. This one is glass. I only have one of these. I've only ever seen one of them, and I got it basically to put sick plants in, not to display the pretty ones. But yeah, so I am going to sign off now. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to see you next time. Goodbye.